Okay. See, am I audible to all? Am I audible? Students, give me
Yes, sir.
reply. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So see, in the previous lecture, we have discussed regarding some of the sensor characteristics. Today we will discuss next one point, that is last one point of this unit. Units of measurement. Only 4 points in this unit, that is sensor characteristics, introduction, classification, and units of measurement. So before discussing regarding units of measurement, we will discuss some characteristics. So in that characteristics of sensor, it is nothing but reliability. What is meant by reliability, or what is the reliability of the characteristics? So reliability is the ability of a product or ability of that device, or it may be ability of that sensor to perform required function under stated condition for stated period of time, right? So what is reliability? Reliability of that equipment or the reliability of that product or sensor, it is nothing but this sensor or this device, it will perform a specific function under that given condition and given period of time. That means stated condition and stated period of time. That means the reliability is depends upon whether that sensor, it is able to produce a output or able to perform their function in that condition within the period of time or within the given period of time. So this is nothing but this is the reliability of that product, or it may be equipment or sensor. So that means then we can call it as this equipment, it is reliable. This equipment, it is reliable, and according to this we define the reliability of sensor. So sensor or any equipment, whether it is reliable, so it is reliable. Suppose you are considering your bike, whether it is reliable on that location, that means it will perform its function well at that condition within given period of time. It is nothing but reliability, right? It will perform its function within given period of time and that stated condition, or it may be defined condition, right? Suppose any sensor, if we are defining, it will work or it will perform better when temperature less than 50 degrees, right? But somewhat at 40 degrees sensor, it will not give performance. That means it is unreliable, right? No, right? If 40 degree, its stated condition is that 50 degree, up to 50 degree, it will give better performance, right? Up to 50 degree, it will give better performance within specific time. Somewhat time is nothing but less than 1 millisecond, okay? But if the temperature sensed by that sensor 40 degree and its operation or its performance, it is not getting within that 1 millisecond, or it will not perform its function in that stated condition in given period of time, then this system or this sensor, it is unreliable. All of you understood definition of reliability, or what is meant by reliability? That product, or it may be that equipment, it is able to perform its operation or its function under that stated condition within the given period of time. Okay, so this is nothing but reliability. So this definition, it is same for all equipment. Okay, it is same for all equipment, each and every equipment, whether it is reliable, we can find out whether it will give performance within that stated period of time and that condition. Okay, and that condition. So suppose any one of the sensor, it is stored or it is used for perform any function. and it will gives at ideal condition, it will gives output within 1 microsecond or it may be 1 millisecond. But actual, while performing the function somewhat at the less than, it will not give its output. That means it is unreliable for that condition, because its output it will be not getting within period of time. Somewhat any one of the sensor it is used to sense the faulty part from the healthy part and open the circuit breaker, right? काही सेन्सर यूज केलेले असतील, शॉर्ट सर्किट झालं, if sensor it is used to protect the system, that is disconnect the faulty part from the healthy part, when the fault it will be occur within 1 millisecond. If this will not happen within that period of time, do you know, within that period of time, that means this sensor it is unreliable for that condition, because it will not perform its duty, or it maybe it will not perform its function within that specific period, right? So that in power system there are multiple protection it can be provided for that system. So multiple in the sense, every equipment, suppose transformer is there are some types of protection, that is primary protection, and second one is that backup protection. If fault occur on that transformer, sensor sense that fault or the relay, it will be gives command to that circuit breaker it will be open. If primary protection fails, okay, but you want to protect the equipment, आपल्याला equipment protect करायचं आहे, okay. So for protection of equipment, if the primary protection fails, to avoid the huge loss, there is a backup protection it will be. That means backup sensor जो backup साठी provide केलेला आहे, this sensor it will be sense fault and it will be disconnect that faulty part, or it will be isolate that faulty part from healthy part, right? Faulty part pasun healthy part, so that if primary protection sensor or the relay which is used, it is not functioning within that condition and within given period of time, that means this is unreliable for that condition, right? All of you getting reliability? Okay. So reliability it can be expressed in statistical term as the probability that the device will function without failure, right? That means that device it will perform its function without failure itself, without failure over a specified period of time or a number of uses, right? So see, if there are one sensor, it will be perform more than 2 function. एकच सेन्सर एखाद्या सिस्टम मध्ये मोर दॅन 2 फंक्शन प्रोटेक्ट करत असेल किंवा सेन्स करत असेल, ओके. फॉर दॅट सिच्युएशन, if the fault occurred in some part of the system and another sensor sense, so it is failure of that sensor or failure of that equipment. Or if primary protection fails, that means failure of that protection. At that situation, backup protection it will be used. So reliability it is expressed in terms of probability of that device, the device probability will function without failure. Failure न होता त्याने काय केलं पाहिजे, फंक्शन केलं पाहिजे, त्याच्यावर त्याची reliability काय राहील, depends. Okay. So reliability of the sensor or any device, it is to perform the required function in the stated period of time and stated condition. So this is nothing but reliability, and it will function without failure over a specific time or a specified time. Reliability specifies a failure, okay. Reliability, if this sensor it is low reliable or it is not reliable, that means it will sometimes fails, right? No, then we can call it as it is unreliable. That means reliability specifies the failure of that equipment or failure of that sensor. That is a temporary failure or permanent malfunctioning of the sensor. What is mean by malfunctioning? What is mean by malfunction? Yes. Malfunctioning, you don't know? Okay. See, failure of that equipment, reliability specify the failure. So failure of that equipment may be temporary failure. That means for that time it will fails, but again sometimes it will be operate. It is nothing but temporary failure, right? Getting temporary failure, it is nothing but if the sensor it is used to perform any function, but it will not sense within that specific time, it will take somewhat more time. Okay, so it is temporary failure. What is permanent failure? That means it will permanently fails. At that situation we require another backup protection, or it may be we required to protect the system, or to protect that control system we require some backup sensor to sense that condition. When permanent failure of first sensor it will be occurred, that is permanent failure. And malfunctioning, that means something disturbance, or it may be something malfunctioning, it will be occurs in that sensor circuitry. सेन्सर सर्किट मध्ये काहीतरी बिघाड झाला, माल फंक्शनिंग, मीनिंग ऑफ माल फंक्शनिंग, इट इज नथिंग बट बिघाड. ओके, सो सेन्सर सर्किटरी जे आहे, इफ दिस सेन्सर सर्किटरी somewhat there is a malfunctioning, so at that situation it will fails to detect. Okay, it will fails to detect either temporary or it may be permanent. So this is nothing but failure, and this reliability it will be specify the failure. Getting what is the reliability characteristics? Okay, reliability characteristics, it is nothing but reliability is the ability of that product to perform the required function under stated condition for the rated period of time. Suppose you are doing any project and external it will be asked whether your product it is reliable for that location. Your product, if you have designed any product, and whether this product it is reliable for that location where it is using. Suppose you are constructing one of the generating station, and this generating station it is reliable for islanding mode or ऑफ ग्रीड मोड. ग्रीडला कनेक्ट नसताना ते रिलायबल आहे का, म्हणजे जिथं ग्रीड अवेलेबल नाहीये तिथं ते फंक्शन परफॉर्म करू शकतात. इट इज नथिंग बट रिलायबल, राइट? गेटिंग? सो दिस इज सिमिलर टू दैट ऑफ सेंसर डिवाइस. सो रिलायबिलिटी इज नथिंग बट इट्स परफॉर्मेंस for that location, or it may be for that given period of time. Okay, so this is the reliability characteristics. Now last one characteristics of the sensor is that uncertainty. See, nothing is perfect in the world. We know already, in the world nothing is perfect. Somewhat drawback of there or somewhat losses is there. That is, nothing is perfect in the world, at least in the sense that we perceive it. So that equipment, or it may be that nature available product, that product we perceive, this product it is not perfect in the world. Okay, suppose we are manufacturing any one of the device, that is if you are manufacturing mobile, and you saying that reliability of this mobile, it will use anywhere, it will use in the water, it will use in the any season, okay, or rainy season, it will use in the summer season, and life of that mobile it is nothing but 50 years. So you are telling like that specification, but this product if it is used in the actual condition, whether it is reliable or whether it is perfect for that condition, when it is judged when we are using, right, when we are using. So but at the practical condition somewhat drawback it will be occur. So that means nothing is perfect in the world, at least which product or which equipment we sense or perceive it, all material are not exactly as we think they are. Okay, each and every material or all material not exactly that we are thinking. जसं आपण विचार करतो तसं प्रत्येक मटेरियल नाहीये. So that means all material not exactly that we are thinking, so that we are considering it is the ideal condition, it is the practical difficulty, right? No, so ideal condition that device is like this, but in case of practical, suppose you are considering any product, your bike, company gives the mileage of that bike for ideal condition near about 70 or 100 kilometer per liter, but there is some practical difficulty. At that situation it will give near about 60 kilometer per liter, or it may be 50 kilometer per, right? That means as we think this bike, it will be gives more efficiency, or it maybe it is more reliable for our this use, but this is not exactly like this. So what is our uncertainty we are discussing now? See, our knowledge, even of the purest of the material, is always approximate. If we are considering any pure material, but this material is also approximate, not perfect or not pure. That means somewhat loss, or it may be somewhat error in that equipment. I want to discuss somewhat error, or it may be somewhat loss on that equipment or that device, right? Our knowledge, even if purest of the material, is always approximate. Machine are not perfect. Any machine we are considering, this is not perfect. Ideally we are considering this motor, it will be give 90% efficiency, but it is practically connected, then it will give 60% efficiency, right? So that means somewhat error or the somewhat loss is there. Okay, so machine are not perfect and never produce perfect identical part according to drawing. Okay, as we are planning, as we are drawing that designing, or it may be some part, if we want to manufacture one part, and if we want to design that part, at that situation we are plotting one or we are draw that design. Okay, we are drawing that design, but after producing that equipment, whether this equipment perfect as per our drawn that means design, as per our drawn design, whether it is perfect, no, somewhat age of that equipment it will be cutted, somewhat age of that equipment it will be cutted circulatory, or it may be in the oval shape, like that. So this equipment it is not perfect. That means there is a somewhat error. Because of machine it will be not working perfect. If machine it is working perfect, but worker which are using that machine, it is not fully skilled, at that situation also there may be somewhat error. So see, all component experiences drifts related to environment and their aging. Each and every component it will be experiences by a drift and related to environment and their aging. Suppose if any one of the machine it is newly purchased and it will perform a clear function, or it will be cut that part as per our design, but somewhat that machine it is having an more than 10 years, or it may be more than 15 years, whether this will be perform function as previous like when you are purchasing, no. That means somewhat due to their age, somewhat error it will be included, or it may be somewhat losses it will be included. So all the component experiences drift related to the environment and their aging. Somewhat external interference it may be enter into the system while doing that performance or while functioning. Somewhat interference, that is external interference. So external interference, do you know, suppose you are considering communication line, so do you know there is some external interference like wind interference, somewhat while we are calling voice call to anyone, there is some interference is there. Okay, interference. So some external interference it will be introduced in that system also. At that situation, again quality of that product it will be loses, right? So alter its performance. So this external interference, due to that external interference, it will alter its performance of that equipment, and it will reduces the quality of that product, right? And modify the output signal. So it will modify the output signal if we are considering the sensor. Okay, see, again workers are not consistent. Workers are not consistent. That means your machine it is also newly purchased. Again your machine it is working properly, but worker who working on that machine, it is not skilled or not consistent, then again the quality of product it will be reduces, right? So these are the some of the factor of that equipment, or it may be material, it will loses its perfectness. That's why we can call it as a any equipment in the world not perfect, somewhat error, or it may be somewhat losses, it will be always present in that equipment. So see, workers are not consistent, and the human factor is nearly always present. That means worker, if the skilled worker is not there, that means human factor it is introduced while producing that product, so that the quality of product it will be reduces. So see, manufacturer fights an everlasting battle for the uniformity and consistency of the process. So always the manufacturer industry everlasting the battle. What is battle? What do you mean by battle? Battle word is used. Gaming is nothing but युद्ध किंवा fight म्हणू आपण. Always fight an everlasting battle for the uniformity. Suppose one product it is manufactured, and we want to manufacture uniform product, second one, but somewhat uniformity it will be less, right? Uniformity it will be less, or it may be some consistency in the process that I have explained earlier. Skilled worker is not there, or it may be somewhat drift it will be there. Again each product it will be not manufactured as per the driving. So some difficulty, same equipment or the equipment produced it is not uniform, right? So manufacturer always battle for uniformity. Manufacturer काय करत असेल, फाइट करत असेल की युनिफॉर्म प्रोडक्ट आला पाहिजे, but due to that machine aging, due to that some external interference, due to somewhat drift, the uniformity it will be loses. Okay, and consistency of the process. At the reality is that every part produced never identical. Each and every part which is produced, it is never identical, and it will carries an uncertainty of its property, right? So final conclusion, what is that? That uniformity it will be not getting due to this above factor. That means we are losing the quality of product. If even though our machine is also new, but our product it is not as per our design, that means somewhat error, or it may be somewhat loss is there. So this error or this loss, or every product it is not identical. So this is nothing but uncertainty property of that material. Okay, uncertainty, meaning of uncertainty, as I have told in the characteristic, that is accuracy. Accuracy characteristics मध्ये मी सांगितलं होतं तुम्हाला, accuracy is nothing but it is near about inaccuracy, and it is explained in the sense of sensor, it is nothing but uncertainty, right? So uncertainty is nothing but as we are expecting, so but that product, or it may be that equipment, it will be not work as per their design, or it is not produced as per their design, it will be not given an output signal as per their ideal condition. That means there is a somewhat uncertain, right? That means there is somewhat uncertain. Okay, so we are expecting anyone, it should be topper in your electrical branch in the state. Okay, we are expecting, but somewhat there is somewhat huge difference, right? No, actual mass and our expecting mass. So that is nothing but this is uncertainty. And at that time we are saying that some factor are affecting on that mass. Saying no. So that factor is nothing but somewhat external interference, somewhat age of that machine, right? मी आजारीच पडलो, अभ्यास झाला नाही. So these are some of the factor, right? No, so this is nothing but uncertain. This is nothing but uncertainty. That is, in the reality, if we want to produce every part as an ideal, but it will not produce ideal due to some of the above factor, and because of that there are some of the uncertainty there, or we can call it as a inaccuracies there. Okay, uncertainty or inaccuracy. So this is related to sensor. Again, uncertainty, it is nothing but property of that sensor. It is nothing but property of that sensor. Somewhat there is a error, it will be occur. So this is nothing but uncertain. All of you understood the point uncertainty? Getting uncertainty. So it is important point, uncertainty. What is the uncertainty characteristics that we want to explain? So do you know every product in the world, or the every material in the world, it is not perfect. There are somewhat error, or it may be somewhat losses are there. So this is nothing but this error or this losses, it is nothing but uncertain. And after uncertainty, we can call some factor or depends on that uncertainty, right? So any industry, if you are producing any one of the equipment, so in that equipment, if there are not uniformity, just 1 minute. Getting uncertainty? Getting no? So this is the last one characteristics of sensor, that is uncertainty, right? So uncertainty of that equipment, it is depends upon number of factors. So uncertainty, it is near about accuracy, or it is nothing but accuracy. Again, it is depends upon manufacturer, it is depends upon machine, it is depends upon worker who was working on that machine. After production of that product, it is depends upon calibration. Again, if some of the error in the calibration, so uncertainty, it will be depends upon that factor, right? Uncertainty, it depends upon that factor. Okay, so this is last one characteristics of the sensor. So uncertainty. Now we will discuss the last one point, is that units of measurement. So this is simple point, units of measurement. Okay, see, units of measurement, the base measurement system. What is the base measurement system? Which are the base measurement system? Any which system it is used for base measurement? वजन करायचं असेल एखाद्या वस्तूचं, which system? SI system, no? So it is the base measurement system. So the base measurement system, it is known as SI system. SI, which stands for Lee System International D units. So this is the MCQ question. Lee System International D units. Okay, so this is the SI stand for this System International D units, and this is the base measurement of any system ची base measurement असेल. So SI, it is often called as modernized metric system. Again, this is MCQ question. So SI, that is System International D units, Lee System International D units. So this SI, it is often called as a modernized metric system. Modernized metric system. All other physical quantities are derivative of this base unit, right? So all other physical quantity, suppose we are considering one SI system, and remaining other quantities, that is physical quantity, are the derivative of this SI. Derivative of SI. Suppose the unit of length. What is the unit of length? Meter. So derivative of that meter. Other units, or it may be other physical quantity. Other physical quantity is nothing but in the proportion of that same proportion. Length, it is measured in the meter. Again, it is measured in the kilometer. Again, it is measured in the millimeter. So this kilometer, millimeter, megameter, centimeter. So these are the derivatives of this SI system. Base system is which? Meter. Meter, it is a base system. All other are derivative of that. You cannot take the meaning of that word derivative. Meter's derivative get basal na. Okay. So all other physical quantities are the derivative of this base unit. Sometimes two other system of units are used. So sometimes there are two units it can be used. Suppose unit of torque, it is nothing but torque unit. What is the unit of torque? What is the unit of force? Newton. What is the definition of torque? Force into झालं ना. टॉर्क इक्वेशन डिराइव केलं तुम्ही मशीन मध्ये. So torque, it is defined as it is the turning or twisting force. Suppose there is a rotational angle, so that torque, it is defined as force into displacement. If there is angular displacement, we can represent as a R. So force, it is nothing but torque, it is nothing but F into R. Unit of force Newton, unit of R meter. So that unit of torque. So sometimes two other system units are combined, or it is used. Okay, so they are the Gaussian system and the British system. So these two systems, it is nothing but one is Gaussian system and one is British system. Suppose unequal shape is there, or some shape is there, we want to find out the area of that shape. कसा find करता तुम्ही? How it can we find out? Uneven shape. Suppose this is the shape. आपल्याला स्टँडर्ड माहिती आहे. सपोज दिस इज ट्रायंग्युलर असेल, आपण त्याचा फॉर्म्युला यूज करतो. रेक्टँग्युलर असेल, वी आर युजिंग फॉर्म्युला. सम ऑफ द अदर शेप, चौरस असेल त्याचा फॉर्म्युला यूज करतो. बट युअर शेप इट इज अनइक्वल. How we are calculating? Line मारून. Okay, but this is also difficult method. Do you know Gauss law? So Gaussian surface, we are taking closed integral of that dx. So closed integration, that means we are finding the area of that unequal set. So this is nothing but Gaussian system, and another one is that British system. Another one, it is nothing but British system. So we are discussing the unit. So unit of length, it is nothing but meter. Unit of length, it is nothing but meter. Unit of mass, kilogram. It is the base unit. Base unit, no? A gram is base unit. Kilogram is base unit. Gram. Then 1000 kg is nothing but 1 ton. So these are the all are the derivative of this base unit. 100 kg is nothing but we can call it as a 1 quintal. 1000 kg it is nothing but 1 ton. So these are the all are the derivative of this base unit. Again time, second. So this is the time. Second, it is the unit of time. It is the base unit. Then electric current, ampere, thermodynamic temperature. Base unit is either degree Celsius or Kelvin. Kelvin it is base unit. Degree Celsius it is the derivative of that Kelvin. Then angle, radian. So these are the this is related to units of measurement. We want to just discuss the unit, how it is measured, and which system it can be used. Okay. So this is related to units of measurement. So in this way, this unit number first, that is sensor fundamental and characteristics unit, it is over. Okay. In the next lecture, we will start the next one unit. This is basic units, second one unit. In that, we want to discuss what is electric charge, what is capacitance, what is resistance. So these are related to basic principle of sensing element. Name of that unit is nothing but basic principle of sensing element. Sensing element म्हणजे सेन्सर आपल्याला कन्सिडर करायचे. Basic principle, it is depends upon capacitance. Basic principle, it is depends upon resistance. Basic principle, it is depends upon inductance. So so that we want to discuss that point related to basic principle and all other basic points, like what is the light phenomenon, again what is mean by resistance. We want to use that principle for that sensing element, so that we want to discuss that second unit, physical principle of sensing. Okay. So in this way, we will conclude this today's lecture, and we will stop here. Thank you. Get